Hey guys, so what we're going to do is we're going to take that form and then I'm going to pre-pinch this, and then again, keeping it stable. This is going to give you a nice C curve. It's going to allow me to get this on nice and flush to the nail. And then again, what I want to be able to do is get a large enough size bead, but again, I don't want to pick up something too massive. So let's just go ahead and get that. Now, I just have to wait. I don't really even have to drain because I want it to release from my brush quite well. And then from the top of the bead, I want to be able to walk this, right, flush to the edge, right? So if I get it up onto the nail, that's going to be fine because I'm going to end up fading a little bit of glitter anyways. And I want to try to keep this as even to my growth channel as I possibly can, right? So even if I have that piece of confetti right there, you're going to notice that the edge is a perfect extension all the way off the side. And I'm just using the body of my brush on the surface to walk this evenly right across the surface. You can see from the side profile that I'm trying to keep it as flush to the nail as I possibly can. What we can do to really add some killer dimension is I could use there's also the way of taking a little bit of speed clear, watch, and maybe just lightly brushing a small amount behind the line of demarcation right there where that is, and then using your brush to kind of pick up maybe some hollow pieces, and you can see how I could just kind of drop them into place right between the silver and some of the hollow, just using that, and then maybe even just some of this glitter right here just to kind of get it into the surface, right? Boom. And that's all I'm trying to do is without adding a tremendous amount of volume, right? And then again, I could just use a really light amount, and then all I'm trying to do is create just a really kind of light kind of ombre fade all the way through, maybe a couple more pieces, boom, all the way. And then, once we actually have the glitter kind of foundation structured, I'm being very careful with my brush, right, just to add small pieces to the surface. But you can even see from the side, there's very little volume on top, okay? So once I'm done doing that, then I can go ahead and I can cap it. I'm going to make sure that I'm working with a bead that's going to try to create as much self-leveling consistency, because I want it to run not just this way, I want it to run this way so that the edges are going to be as flush as possible. So I need to get a lot of monomer, and then I'm going to bounce into the surface to get a nice bead. And then what I want to be able to do is maybe count to 2 or 3 and then slowly release. Look, notice how the tip of my brush quickly gets behind, and what I'm able to do is really feather that as tight as I can while the bead runs down past the stress area, kind of really naturally creating my upper arch. And then what this is also going to do is it's going to create a real bubble-free application. And then I can lightly start feathering from the front, right, just to kind of get it to start to overlay. You can see from the side profile how everything tapers down towards the back end as well as the sides, right, as it sets. Now what I want to be able to do is I want to be able to fill that front end right there. So I'll go ahead and get, again, a nice healthy amount. And then what I want to be able to do is work backwards. So in between the acrylic and here, I'm going to set this down. I'm just going to pull back. We're going to allow that to kind of level, and then I could use the body just to walk it. I'm not going to pull it yet. I want to be able to walk this over the tip to secure it. Okay, so once we actually have that secure, you can see within, again, the time it took me to sculpt the free edge, right, build this out, cap it, right? You can see how everything is encased inside there, right? It's not going to I'm not going to have a lot of filing to do. My upper arch is built out. My lower arch, again, from the end of the growth channel all the way out to the front end, is going to work out just well. And then what we want to be able to do is file this into shape once it's done. So I need to give it a little bit of time, and once it sets, then what we'll be able to do is file this into shape. But since I've capped everything really, really well, I'm not going to file into the surface and file the glitter away. Okay, so just a heads up to notice that I put my brush here. What I'm keeping it inside here so that it gives me time, right, to just kind of close everything up so that I don't put any of the dust or the filings inside. Let's go ahead and secure everything. And then the way I clean my brush, again, is by taking it out and then just kind of using this towel to kind of roll out the excess, kind of pull out the acrylic, and then that way it stays nice and soft and supple. Okay, go ahead and secure this. All right, as this dries, you'll really start to notice that it's a really, really smooth surface. We have about I'm going to go ahead and remove this, but I have about I'd say a 3-minute window before everything really, you can see the level of flexibility, right? If I'm sitting here bending this, right, it's not completely set yet. The bottom is, but the surface isn't. So I just need to make sure that, right, it's set before I start filing everything into shape. So what I'm going to do is get a brand new file, okay, and then we are going to go through the process of getting everything even from side to side. You grab that really fast. So take the edges down of your file, right, so that you don't cut your client. And once you've done that, what we're going to end up doing is really trying to get this filed into shape. So I want to make sure that my hand file, so I want to try to create as much of an almond shape, right? So you can see I'm swiveling towards it from the corner to the center. I'm not going to make it completely straight. You can see that I'm building almost a wall, a ledge, right? And I'm working down towards the center, trying to keep that real straight ledge from the edge all the way to the front. For those of you guys that were just on TikTok watching, how you're going to eliminate that step from the side is if you turn the hand to the side, you can see that my growth channel is right there, right? So I have all of that hanging. I don't want to put it in the corner and file up. What I want to do is I want to start here, and then if I hold the top and then I file and I continue to file, right? I want to be able to continue to file until my hand file reaches the corner, right? So it's a lot of pressure at those low points until your hand file ends up reaching the end of that growth channel so that you get a really, really straight extension coming off the side, right? So here as well, you can see that I have a lot of it hanging off the edge, a lot deeper. So I want to kind of start it here and then work up. All right, and then so keep contact all the way through, right? And then that way you're going to be able to get your lower arches really, really straight off the sides, okay? So let's go ahead and switch out to our safety bit. I'm going to bring the bit out a little bit farther, and the reason why is because of the length of the nail, so the nose, so the hand piece doesn't hit while I'm working, right? So let's go ahead and turn this up, right, to about 13,000 RPMs. I need to use I formation. So if I'm looking at the side, the amount of time that I'm going to file, right, I'm going to taper that back end. I'm going to work through the upper arch all the way down to the tip to really try to get that shape as tight as we possibly can. And then looking down the barrel of the nail, you can see the level of thickness. So if I'm working in one direction towards myself, what I'm going to be able to do is really kind of round off. See how I'm rounding that off? You can see the ledge that I have here. If I file towards myself in one direction, I'm going to be able to really round off that edge and make the C curve as even as I can from side to side. All those individuals that came out and worked with us during OWC, I can guarantee that their electric filing skills have really changed completely. Okay, when I'm working around the cuticle area, I'm not going side to side. I'm working zone 1 of my barrel. Notice the positioning of my hand, which is really important. And what I mean by really important, you can see how I'm in this position while I'm working so that I can get around the cuticle without having to really like torque my hand. Like if my hand is in this position, I get a lot of pressure right here. If I'm in this position, I have zero tension in my hand, which allows me to work around and then through. So once I'm done doing the cuticle area, I'm done doing the C curve. And again, I'm not going side to side. I'm working in this direction. That way the barrel doesn't slip. Then the upper arch is what I showed you guys, starting from here and working to this point. Once all areas of the eye are filed, then what we can end up doing is just kind of file in one direction to kind of blend everything. And like, this is pretty much in shape. What I'm going to do now is use my hand file to get that cuticle area as flush as we can. Zero ledges, right? So I don't have to spend that much time going around the cuticle area. And if I hold my hand file in this position and then I file down, right, down, you can even see, I'll just kind of zoom out, but like, see how I'm like literally, it's so easy just to come this way, right? And then I can hold it like this just to kind of swivel up just to get, you can see how my file is swiveling up here, right? To get that edge, just to make sure that everything, and then at this point too, it's a lot like if some of the edges aren't even, you can get back because a lot of the bulk has been removed, right? To get that, like to get those edges like really, really even around the side. And then this side here is more of holding your hand file in this position and then achieving contact while you're going into the nail and then letting it fall into the nail, right? Then once you start to build really good rhythm with that, you're going to see my hand goes like this and it comes straight down, right? That's the feeling that I have when I'm working around that side. Let me just make sure this doesn't pop off. Last but not least, what we want to be able to do is look here, client profile, and then this is like where we're going to do some minor detailing around the edges to make sure that everything is going to be nice and even. Sidewalls, right? C curve. We want to make sure that we have it completely even, right, from side to side. And then what we're left with, just going to use a little bit of a sponge. I just want to make all the detailing at the end is again the small little things that count, where if you make it perfect, your customers are absolutely going to fall in love with the work that you do. Let's go ahead and take swipe, right? And then now you can see as I wipe away, you can see the holographic nature, right, of the glitter. Let's go ahead and take some of protein bond. I'm just going to run it around the edge so that my finished gel doesn't chip. And then the real, again, I'd say amazing look. Let me just grab some finish. Where is finish? I have finish, so I'll use stain resistant top coat. And what I want to be able to do is get a nice healthy amount, and then I'm just going to start it here and work it down again, cuticle to free edge. And you can see like that right there. I mean, that is dope. And so you can, those two glitters alone, right? I mean, that's smoking. All right, look at that. Super, again, holographic. It's really going to change the way, I mean, I really love the way it, like when you're just putting in the clear over the top, everything looks silver. You're not able to tell anything until you actually lay that top coat down, right, to get it to look like that. All right, just a simple fade with some of that simple technique. Working it from side to side is going to make all the difference in the world while you're working. The small things matter. And what I mean by that, to the way you pick up your bead, to the way you set it down, for it to self-level from side to side, you can pick up a lot from watching the lives that I do as well as the YouTube videos. But to really grasp it, to really understand it, you have to see it live. Take a class, work with us, change your life completely. For those of you guys interested in upcoming classes, make sure to get a hold of Ray Bracamontes here at home office. For those of you guys that are coming out in August for the 1-week course, I can't wait to change your life. Thank you guys for tuning in, and look forward to seeing you guys soon. Have a wonderful day. Peace.